We waited an entire season, a whole season to talk about it. We knew it was coming. They teased it. They teased it over and over again with the same goddamn teaser trailer. And then, lo and behold, the only thing that we get is the same exact goddamn trailer that we got for the entirety of the fucking season. You kidding me?
I don't know why we expect anything else. Anytime that they pick up cameras for some dramatic breakup or some dramatic news that pops off, it is about 35 seconds, 40 seconds total of them basically just telling us what happened, and it's news that we've known for 6 months. That is how it always goes for all of these shows. It is probably so expensive to send your production crew back to go do all of this just for one scene. Like, give me another scene with the girls. Let's hear what the girls have to say. Get them all together. Let's all chat about it. Give me at least like 10 minutes at the end of this episode to talk about it instead of what we got.
We got like a minute 30 as the credits are rolling. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows. Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bros and Shows. I'm your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Finale McGalley. Sure. Why not?
That works. Why not? It's Monday, March 24th, and my bracket is busted.
Hey, boy. I haven't looked at mine. I only did one. Yeah. I had 290 points yesterday. I don't know if that's good or not, but
I've looked at it twice, and after the first day, I was already dead. I don't know why I do it. I watch enough of it. I know what's going on. It never works. Somebody out there is just picking cool mascots and just winning all of these things. That's you.
Guilty. Yeah. I was first place in my family bracket, so maybe there's something to it. Yeah, I've got Kentucky versus Auburn in the final.
Okay, I can't even say that makes no sense to me. But who's
both still
that you're wrong? I know
they're still kicking. You don't know. Maybe I'm an idiot savant when it comes to March Madness.
Duke is playing right now, and I have them in the championship game. They could lose by the time that we're done recording this. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
March Madness, baby. But we're not here to talk about brackets. We're also not here to talk about Craig and Paige. They didn't talk about that at all this whole episode. But we are here to discuss the Southern Charm finale of a very strange season. I would give this like a 5 out of 10, probably.
Yeah. The season as a whole did not a lot for me, really, at all. The things that we were looking forward to, the things that we weren't looking forward to, it all just kind of came together in a meh type of season.
Exactly. Just meh. Like there was some good moments.
Nobody's going to be rewatching this. I'll put it that way.
Correct. What we got out of it was Molly. She's great. Sally, I think she's good for the show. Like that's pretty much all we can take away is, all right, we have two newcomers that did a good job. Other than that, what did we really get?
A lot of complaints about production not showing what the girls are up to and only focusing on the dudes because that's what this show does. And it bothers me every year. I never get over it. I always get excited when Southern Charm starts. Same with Summer House because they're the two shows that I like the most. Once they start up, I remember why I got aggravated with them towards the end of each season. And it all just starts over again and starts over again. I don't know what I'm doing. It's like I'm severing my mind or something and just forgetting.
No, you know what it is?
My innie was watching it.
It's the Philly sports fan in you. And I know we just won the Super Bowl, so it's a little different right now. But usually we get our hopes up. We are still world champs. All right. Watch your mouth.
I'm looking forward to next season.
I'm looking forward to baseball season now. But that's what we do here. You get your hopes up, and then 9 times out of 10, we get really far, and we shit the bed in a very crucial playoff game. So that's what it is. You expect something different, and yet you get the same result. We're so used to that now we do that with Bravo shows. That's good.
It is.
That our Philly sportsdom has.
I really love that you painted it that way because that makes a lot of sense to me and also irks me to my core. So
yeah, does it make you feel better and worse?
Appreciate you. Yeah.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for, man. That's what I'm here for. To pick you up when you're feeling down or to knock you down
when I'm feeling up.
Yep. Oh, you're feeling good today? Well, fuck you. No, I'm But why don't we jump into this episode? Again, not that much happened. It was more of
For a
kind of
finale, it was really underwhelming.
it's very tame. Like we got to the party and I had to pause and be like, "There's 10 minutes left. Like, what did we
Yeah.
talk about?" It's pretty
Nothing
crazy.
really.
But
Nothing at
what?
all. Like a JT Venita centric storyline at the end of the year is not something I ever had on my bingo card.
Mm-mm.
And there were some pretty good moments that like we're going to talk about because it's going to be the bulk of the episode. But otherwise, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, is a very good way to describe both the season and the finale. And we start out where we left off from last week. Literally, we pick right up in that scene with Venita and JT and the whole some girl comment. And now that the whole thing is shaken out, we heard from the barber. Venita's big takeaway is that she was referred to as quote unquote some girl because
Mhm.
she feels that she means more to JT than that. So she feels belittled in this whole thing. So she goes over to the event space and talks to JT about this whole debacle. And the first thing she does is compliment his haircut. I'm like, okay, it's a weird way to set
Yeah.
the tone for this scene, but whatever. I'll
Mhm.
let that one slide.
Very strange.
Right? Like that's a weird way to intro. There's a lot going on, and yet your infatuation with this man still shines through.
Yeah, not only that, but also like the comment about his hair, knowing what we're about to talk about is even
And
weirder.
where the hair came from.
Yeah,
The
and I'm
barber.
still of the mind of like the barber's gossiping, and
I was
he's
so
kind of
confused
he's kind of
about
in
like how
trouble for this. Why are we like complimenting the haircut? I do
dude,
like at least she said we're not going back there, which I was like, oh, we like what?
yeah, we're talking
Did
the
you just do
general
the?
we now.
Did you just do the we? I don't like that at all. What are
The
you doing,
general
Benita?
we. The whole scene kind of confused me. The whole episode honestly kind of confused me
Yeah.
because well, they're hashing it out because she's like not going back to that barber shop. And JT's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. The barber's cool. Fuck
Mhm.
Ryan.
I don't get
Again,
that. I
I
don't.
don't
It,
understand. And on Twitter, people are saying fuck Ryan too. I'm like, well, hold on.
I
This
don't.
to me
I
sounds like a game of telephone that the barber fucked up.
Yeah, the barber definitely fucked it up, and you could tell right away when he's on the phone with JT last week. He says, "Look, I may have said that, but like if I did, I'm sorry." I thought that was an admission of guilt. Like he
Same.
probably paraphrased what JT was talking about. Now, and people are going to point this out all the time. Like you have weird conversations with your barber. They're going to talk about weird shit. It's like, all right, fine. The barber doesn't need to go then tell Ryan because he knows that Ryan's on the show. Like, hey, I had JT here earlier, and this is what he was talking about. Then paraphrase and then say some black girl on the show. Like all of that is wrong on the barber. I still don't see JT actually saying that, especially with somebody like
I
Venita.
don't either.
You can say what you want, like, yeah, obviously, and we're gonna get into it in the reunion. He let her on. There's a lot of weird shit going on, a lot of shady stuff going on relationship wise. Venita was Benita. Venita was blinded by all of like the allure of JT for some reason, which I'll still never understand. But at the end of the day, it's the barber's fault that all
That's
of this
what I thought.
transpired. This
And
isn't
here's
Ryan's fault. Ryan did a good job of explaining what he was talking about too. I'm like, all right, Ryan, I got you. It took you a long time to get there because you were shaking throughout that entire conversation,
yeah,
but
it's tough
you
scene.
got there. Yeah,
He
he's got
got
to get
there.
better. He's got to get better at talking on
Well, if
camera.
he's going to be on Bravo, yeah. But
Yeah.
my whole thing watching this scene as they both set their sights on Ryan after we
Uh-huh.
heard, like you said, the bartender, god damn it, the barber more or less copped to it, where it's like maybe it was lost in translation and the way that
Yep.
I said it was incorrect. He said that on the phone. So if you're going to be mad at Ryan, you could get mad at him for gossiping or whatever. But that doesn't make sense to me either because JT's whole platform is standing for justice, standing up for
Mhm.
your friends, calling people out. You called Sally the other woman, and you still think that you were right. And you still think that you are in the right for doing that. So in
Mhm.
this case, Ryan heard something from a barber. He pulls a JT and he goes directly to the friend and says, hey, I heard some shit that was being talked. So all he did was take a play from JT's playbook, relay some information that he had heard from a barber that got the situation wrong, admittedly so. And then when it all shakes out, JT says, barber's cool, fuck Ryan. Make
Yep.
that make sense to me because that doesn't make sense to me.
I can't make it make sense unless it's just simply JT knowing that Ryan doesn't like him and he feels like he has it out for him. And like that could be the case. I don't think that Ryan
Sure.
likes JT. And I think once he got this information, he went to Venita. Again, his explanation later is pretty good, pretty clear. Like, hey, we're friends. I felt like it was necessary for me to tell you this based on what else is going on. It could also very well just be can somebody please go to Venita, grab her on the shoulders, and shake the living hell out of her until she snaps out of it? Because I don't know what's going on. The infatuation with JT drives me insane. I would want to do that if I was her friend. So it could be that. But to blame Ryan after all of this, yes, he's the source. Did you expect him to come to you directly, man to man, when you're going around telling all the girls all these different things because you stand up for women's rights and whatever the hell else is going on or whatever else you say? You're doing the same thing. So, like, what did you expect back? This person doesn't like you. He likes Venita. He's friends with Venita. He went straight to her and said, look, this is what's going on. I heard this from a barber. And now you called out the barber. You figured out the crime. You solved the crime. It's the barber's fault. It was the barber in the barbershop with some
with
shears.
scissors. Oh,
Yeah.
shears. Nice. That was better.
Yeah.
That was a more industry term.
Yeah.
But
industry and clue. Yeah.
The whole thing fucking confused me. I didn't understand. Like, I can get having some anger towards Ryan for perpetuating this. Sure.
For gossiping. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But to place all of it on him when we heard the barber say, maybe I said it wrong. That's such an important piece of information that apparently is glossed over. And then we get to watch more inappropriate behavior because at this juncture, JT's got a girlfriend. And yet the flirtation is still there. Like the hug thing, it's like, oh, are we allowed to do that? Yuck, yuck, yuck. It's like, no, not if you're
so confused.
The pretext there like makes it more than just a hug. If you're just friends, be like, dap it up, hug, whatever.
Yeah. And I know this is going to sound like we're jumping all over the place, but I have to get this out of my brain now. Are you just as confused at the like update at the end of this episode? Where
I was so confused. Well, then I remembered
weeks later,
the JT dating thing.
Yeah.
So I remembered what I saw, and now that we know production's fucking weird with this show, it's harder to find it. But I remember when all of this stuff came out, like way back when the Venita and JT stuff had initially been dropped, it said that they had dated, then he ghosted her, and then he reappeared with a girlfriend.
But
that was the original story.
That's what happened. I don't know. I think they put way more emphasis on them dating now, so I was even more confused. But we had already seen him say, like, I basically have a girlfriend. It's the same girl. So it just keeps pointing to JT being shady. And yeah, I mean, he probably stopped talking to the girlfriend for like a week or two, dated Venita for a couple of weeks, and then ghosted her when he got back with his girlfriend. That's probably what happened, which does not make you a good guy. Doesn't make you a good friend. Doesn't make you a good boyfriend. Doesn't make you a good person in general. So you can just take that to the grave with you. I was just really confused by all of this, as I have been pretty much the whole season with JT and Venita.
It's just such a strange situation that's going on. Like, I don't know how to make heads or tails of it, but yeah, it's just, I mean, we said it 1,000 times. It's confusing, but we move on from there, and you get Shep with Whitney, and obviously they recap Sienna real quick, just like, oh, I haven't seen you that emotional about anything before. It's like,
I'm so happy they kept this short. Like,
yeah, same.
We did not need to delve any deeper. We watched it. We were uncomfortable. Let's move on, please. I can't do it anymore.
Correct. Yeah, save us from the misery. But
she mailed me the shark necklace back.
But then they get into some Molly discussions, and obviously we've seen this, whatever this is, kind of blossoming throughout the season. I'm not really sure what to call it.
Blossoming is a word. Yeah.
Blossoming. Sure. Because I don't really know what else is going on with this whole thing. It's watching him go through this and then loop back around that quickly just goes to show you exactly who Shep is, because they're talking about it and he's like, you know, it's really sweet, but you know, I can't imagine hooking up with anybody right now, like immediately after that. And you know, I don't want to fuck with her head. And Whitney's like, yeah, but, and he's like, yeah, you're right. Do you think she'd be down? Like, would she be cool? Like,
that's all it takes for a guy like Shep to be completely heartbroken over Sienna and all the things that transpired. And then you go to Cuba afterwards to clear your head, and you have a talk with your dad. Then you have a talk with your other dad and Whitney, and you're sitting down and just chatting it all the way through. And you're like, wait, yeah, you know what? It's been long enough.
Yeah, you know what? I'm good.
And in reality, just, you know, if we're looking at this as an overview, you weren't really dating Sienna. You guys talked here and there. You saw each other every once in a while. It shouldn't be that hard to get over it and go talk to Molly and then spark up some romance there. But what we watched last week at the Bahamas, you are in no shape to discuss romance with anybody. You need to go back to South Africa, go to Australia. I don't care where you have to go.
Go back to Cuba.
You gotta go figure your shit out. Like, don't put this on her because it's going to end terribly.
Yeah, she doesn't need this. She is a nice lady. Don't fuck her up because you're on the rebound. And that's like all I get from this. Because like the fact that he did a 180 that fast was like, yeah, you know what? I will call her and invite her.
And there's two weird romances going on in this that I can't really figure out. Molly and Shep, obviously, Venita and JT. When Molly is reading, and we get that little clip here, when she's reading the text message, the absolutely insane text message that Shep sent to Sienna, referencing her freckled lips. Molly's like, "Oh, that's kind of cute. You're like a poet." Like,
she does have freckled lips.
Reading?
Shit, dude. It's
what's going on? There's something in the water down there in Charleston.
No, she's just being nice to him. There's no way she read that and was like, "Wow, you're romantic." It's like, "Wow, you're a stalker," is what I got from that. But Molly says yes. She says yes to the invite. We know that she's into him. She just feels pressured by the group now. So it's this whole thing. But they're going together, which, you know what? Go have some fun. Who gives a shit? Whatever. But we get to Paige and Craig, and Craig's driving her to the airport. Trip is over, and they're just kind of chit-chatting back and forth a little bit. And he's like, "Yo, man, I wish you could stay an extra day." And I saw this in like a trailer.
Yeah.
This is tough. This is really tough. I wish you could stay an extra day, but I guess you did come a day early, so that was our bonus day. That's so true. That's all.
And now look, some of this is some of it is going to be like hyper fixated on certain things that they say. When I look at that and I don't have context of who's talking, I could easily chalk this up to being, just a weird, awkward conversation in front of cameras. You guys don't know what to talk about, so you're just kind of throwing words out there. I get it. I fully understand how this works. I've seen it before. There's, there could be chemistry in your relationship, but maybe it's not going to work out. Then you find out it's Craig and Paige talking about this. You're like, ugh, ooh, what are you guys doing? What do you guys even talk about anymore? Is it just constant complaining and like not seeing each other?
That's all we've seen is Craig wants her to give him validation that they're okay. Paige sidesteps it and gives him just an inch because she doesn't want to say too much because she's made it very clear where she stands. It's almost like he thinks that if he keeps pushing, eventually she'll be like, "You know what? You're right. I'll move to Charleston. Like, no big deal. I love you so much. You're the light of my life. You're the apple of my eye. What was I thinking wanting a career of my own? How silly of me, Craig. Let's go to your backyard." That's what he wants. And that's why he keeps bringing it up over and over and over again. And you know what? Especially with somebody like Paige, who's made it very clear, my life's very different than it was when we started dating. I'm a different person than when we started dating. I want different things. I need some space here for me to figure things out while we're still together. Like, it doesn't mean that I need to break up with you, but I need some time. And he's still
so weird.
Overbearing on it.
Yeah, but like any normal conversation, the way that this goes, you're breaking out a schedule. That like it's you guys have been together for 2.5, 3 years at this point. Why is it so awkward for you guys to talk about planning a schedule? You kept asking her. He must have asked her 6 times in this conversation alone. When's the next time I'm going to see you? When's the next time I'm going to see you? I'm sorry, dude, but like, figure it out. Make some time. Just say, hey, you're going to be on tour here, here, and here. What if I came to this city for the night and just like hung out with you, got to see the show, got to root you on, and then I fly back? That seems pretty easy. I'm sorry, but like, I know you're running businesses and you're on the show. The show's going to stop filming like right after this. You probably have a lot more free time on your hands than you usually do. You have a lot of money. You're doing well for yourself. Why not just offer that? Like, stop putting the ball in her court and being like, when are you coming back to Charleston? Are you going to leave me alone? Same thing we talked about with Joe Bradley and Maddie, but obviously, 15 years into the future at this point. Why are we still doing this instead of you just coming up with solutions and saying, hey, I know you're going to be crazy. Like, you're going to have so much fun in Italy. When you get back and you go on tour, let's set up a couple of dates and I can fly out to the different shows. I'm sure, if you guys want me up there, the fans might like it, whatever. I don't care, but I'll come and root you guys on and then we can hang out. We can grab some nice dinner. We can stay over together in a hotel. I'll pay for the hotel. We'll do a nice little romantic getaway and then I'll fly back and then you can continue with your tour. It'll be a nice breakup. That's what it makes sense like in a relationship to me. And then hearing Craig like beg for her to come back was just tough.
Well, that's what it is. He's doing it intentionally because he wants her to say, I want to see you on these dates. He wants her to want him. So that's why he's not saying, hey, what about this date?
You to want me.
That's Craig.
Does he need her? Does he
He
need her
needs
to need
her
him?
to need him, and she doesn't, and she's made it clear. And like that's the thing, you can have, and we've talked about this before. They're just at different places, and that's fine.
Mhm.
That's why they broke up. But you're seeing where
Why?
it got to be too much.
Yeah,
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 because eventually she's like, "All right, dude, I fucking told you already. Like,
yeah.
I'm going to LA for 3
At
days, and then I'm
least
going to Italy, and then I go on tour." And he's like,
we
"Ugh,
we don't have to hear the chicken anymore.
that's true.
Chicken's wearing thin. Chicken was
Yeah,
wearing thin earlier this year. Yeah,
I'll
I've
start
gotten
calling
to
you
the
my chicken."
that's fine because I know it's a term of endearment between us. It's not just, the way you talk to each other at this
Come
point
on,
because
chicken.
there is no love between them anymore at this point.
No,
This is a business transaction. This is because you have to see each other because you have to do this and have to do that. They're both with, Craig not really knowing it and Paige definitely knowing it. Both of them have one foot out the door. And
yeah, I agree.
it's
I
just
don't think he does. I
calling
think
each
he's
other chicken. I
She's
think
got a foot out the
subconsciously he
door,
does.
and he's the little kid wrapped around her other leg as she's
Yeah, that's
trying to
fair.
get out the door. And he's like, "No, come on back
Yeah.
here. I'm not done yet." But
But it makes it even more confusing because at the end of the episode he says, "I was offering to come to Manhattan," but in this, that didn't seem like it. And like Paige is right. You would be blaming her for the rest of your life if you moved to Manhattan and raised kids up there. You're still in this scene, even though we know based on the timeline that Craig gave us that he, picked out a ring before last summer. So we knew that already happened. They've already had discussions about him moving to Manhattan. And yet in this scene, you can see what he truly still wants. It's still that white picket fence down in Charleston, raising kids down there. Which, you
with
know what? If
Paige,
that's what you want, that's what you want. But not with Paige. It's not going to work.
yeah, she's not into it. She's not down. And I like the nail in the coffin for me is when they're leaving. He's still trying to pull more from her. He's like, "God, it doesn't feel like this usually. Like it's usually not this." And she's
I
like, "Love
know.
you." And she leaves. Like it's just so clear and it's sad, but
She's
it is
like,
what
this
it
is the
is.
last time you're going to see me. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, eesh, kind of. But we get to
Eesh.
Craig and Austen, which is nice to see these two together, like chit chatting. As we know now, it might have been short lived because they're back in a weird place. But they bring up a text from Taylor. Taylor texted Austen and was like, "Hey, the girls are all talking about the fact that you kept asking Sally to show you her boobs while we were on vacation, making it seem like this was a big issue, that
Yep.
Sally wasn't happy with the whole situation, that she feels some type of way towards Austen for continuing to ask it, the fact that he's got a girlfriend now. Like there's a lot of things being thrown around in this little scene of him down in the Bahamas saying, "Show me
Mhm.
your boobs." So it sets the stage where I'm like, "Oh shit, is Sally pissed off about this? Like, oh, what happened? Like, are we gonna hash it out at the party? Like, we're going through a third party here in Taylor, but
Are we going through a third party or do they have footage of Sally telling everybody this? Oh,
Sally
they
did
do.
tell
Okay,
everybody."
incredible. We have footage of Sally telling everybody this that could have provided context to the viewer, and they chose to once again, with
Oh,
the
yep.
girls hanging out, show us a little snippet. Enough. Like I can't say it enough. It's insane to me that we don't give them any sort of spotlight. Like those scenes
Yeah.
looked fun. We saw this and we talked about it the whole time. Like, yeah, if Taylor doesn't do anything or she doesn't step up and make any friends on the cast, then it's going to be really hard for her to be on this show. We watched her get closer to people in the Bahamas. She was part of that conversation. Sally said it. We could have had context on how Sally feels about it. Was she joking about it or was she saying it made me feel really weird? Because if that made her feel super weird, Austen is going to have to grovel and it's shitty behavior. I mean, it's shitty behavior to begin with, of course, but if she didn't take it that way, then you're clear, you're fine. I don't know. We have to figure out what's going on. Is Taylor doing this to be shady because she doesn't like Sally? Is Sally talking about it in a negative way? We don't know because we're not going to get that whole footage. And it's just
No, we just get enough
like
to keep it ambiguous. It's just enough to be like,
they keep it like a mystery. Like, why? You
yeah,
have fucking footage.
maybe they have nothing else to talk about because
I don't
that's
know.
nothing else happens this episode. But everyone's getting ready for the party. Everyone's meeting up with their dates. We get to see Andrew again, who I forgot about entirely and
Oh,
can
man.
continue to forget about entirely. Don't need him. And you get Shep and Molly. Molly's got a ball sack door knocker, which is
Mhm.
pretty funny.
Pretty
So
funny.
good for you, Molly. Nice job there. And that whole interaction was also strange. I don't know, but I also feel like that's just how Shep operates on a date. Like
It
I don't think
wasn't.
that was.
How do I put this?
I don't know.
It was. It was like organized awkwardness. Like
Yeah,
it seemed awkward in the right way. And I
right.
don't
Like
know
cutesy
how else
awkward.
to yeah, and, like, they were both vibing on the awkwardness,
That's
and it was a
yes.
positive thing, and I
There
didn't
was
really get it, but it felt good to me, And I don't know how it made me feel, but
That,
you know,
yeah,
we don't have
that,
enough time to discuss that.
no, we don't need to get into your feelings. That would take too long. But yeah, that's that's a good way to put it. They were both thriving in the awkwardness
Yeah.
with one another, and they were enjoying the weirdness because she's quirky. We know
Yeah.
Shep's a little quirky, so it makes sense. And
Could work.
it just bummed me out because I'm like, I like them together. She needs to run, get away
Yeah.
from that man. But
Yeah.
they were cute together, which again kind of sucks. But we get to the party, and Leva is also over Ryan, which is, again, I'm a little confused. If you're mad at Ryan for his involvement, sure, but the fact that the barber's not catching any flack, I still don't understand. But
I don't understand it.
I will give her some like, it's just, again, it's weird because it's JT, because she's like, if you're going to do this, then call JT like a man instead of whisper down the lane. I'm like, fair, but JT doesn't do that. He just takes it like, no matter what it is, if he finds out that someone's been quote unquote slighted by somebody else, he takes it upon himself to be the vindicator, like Captain Justice. So it's
Ryan's
just
not
weird,
friends.
man.
Ryan's not friends with JT. So
He's friends with Venita.
Like you're on the same show together, but he's actually friends with Venita. If he stepped into it and called Venita when they're not close, then yeah, I get that. That just seems like he's a little thirsty for some airtime. He got a nugget of information from his barber of all places and decided to bring it to the show in a weird, dramatic way. If that was the case, then I'm fully on Leva's side saying this. Like, yeah, kind of shitty. Just go to JT if you have an issue with it, with what happened, and you truly do feel weird
but
about
that's
it.
also him just doing his job. Bringing a rumor to cause a little bit of a mess. I mean, granted, this one's a little different. This one's different because of the racial undertones. So I will say that, obviously. But
that wasn't like a big focal point. I thought that was going to be a bigger issue than it was. They were really focused on the Some girl.
The Some girl.
It seem like
I think
Venita
once
wasn't
they
that
cleared
close
it up,
to him.
there was no reason to continue to perpetuate that the other thing was said.
And if it really obviously wasn't meant that way, then good, instead of like doing all of that, because it could have been a lot darker. It could have been a lot weirder if JT had said that and meant it. And it's really messy. But it seems like Venita, when she talked to JT about the whole thing, cleared it up enough. And she clearly believes him, and even we do to an extent. Like, he probably didn't say that. It's the same thing as him calling Miss Patricia a bitch. It probably didn't happen. That's not
believe it.
How JT talks. He operates in a weird way. He's an asshole. He's not great towards women, even though he thinks he's great towards women. But I don't see him doing either of these things, saying either of those things verbatim. So, we're not standing up for him. We're truth seekers. That's what we are.
Sure.
We're truth.
We are journalists.
Yeah.
Or something. Or Bravo experts, according to Ryan.
Yep.
But we get to Austen and Sally. And Austen obviously is trying to, he's trying to clear the air because he doesn't really know where he stands with it. He's like, hey, I was let in on a little information that, you're upset with me saying that stuff down in the Bahamas, and I want to apologize to you. And Sally's like, whoa, well, where's that coming from?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, it's coming from Taylor. And she's like, okay. And they both clarify with one another that this was intended as a joke. It was received as a joke. It's a stupid joke. He shouldn't have said it, but she doesn't feel any type of way about it. She's upset that once again, Taylor has found herself talking about Sally when Sally told Taylor not to talk about her.
And the thing that kind of puts it into perspective for where Taylor's coming from, because again, we could have easily just had the context, but we didn't. So let's operate with what we have. The fact that Sailor,
wow,
Sailor Moon. The fact that Taylor said that, and what she said to Austen was, it seems like she's coming for your relationship now. That's a little salty.
Right.
That's clearly, hey, I'm snitching on Sally, and you need to get ahead of this because I don't like what she's doing. That's mean girl behavior. That's stealing information. They don't like each other. Sally and Taylor do not like each other, rightfully
I know
so.
that.
She's dating. Yeah,
They're both dating each other's ex.
Yeah, they both are. So clearly they don't like each other. That's fine. But I don't think, because I know some people were talking about it being like a trap laid out for Sally to see if Taylor was going to spill the beans so that she could go after Taylor because she doesn't like her. I don't think that Sally was thinking 2 steps ahead. I think she was just talking about it in a group setting. And Taylor took that privy information and ran to Austen, put a different context on it, and said, you better watch out for this. And thankfully, Austen tried to clear the air right away because it shows Sally like, hey, yeah, no, she just leaked this information to me, but she's trying to put a context like you're trying to mess with my relationship now. And Sally's like, no, it was a joke. I wasn't taking it like that. So it goes right back to Taylor. So Taylor's just snitching. That's all that's happening here.
And she takes it directly to Taylor and says, hey, can we chit chat? just a little chit chat over here. Let's just talk it out real quick. I thought we agreed to keep each other's names out of our mouths. And yet here I have an instance of you with my name in your mouth again.
And we had a lot of names and mouth offs here.
Yeah, a lot of Will Smith offs.
Yeah.
A lot of Will Smith offs here. And she's like, you texted Austen. She's like, I did. And Taylor's like, well, I don't know how you portrayed it to the girls. And Sally's like, exactly. You don't know the context. You don't know what we discussed. You weren't there, so you're not privy to that. So why are you going to him and talking about it in a negative way when you don't know how we discussed it? Which is a valid point, because now you are once again pulling Sally into a situation that she doesn't deem to be a situation, and you're causing shit for her where she doesn't want it. That's a problem.
Not only that, but you're betraying girl chat. And the biggest thing that Taylor's had an issue with is making friends on the show. You got close to them again. You had some fun in the Bahamas. You can just keep Sally a little bit away. You guys aren't going to get along. That's fine. Molly's super nice. Madison seems to like you. Venita seems to like you. You were in pretty much everybody's good graces, and immediately you betrayed that. You betrayed the trust. You're going to go right back on the outskirts, especially after all of this. So dumb move by Taylor. You're going to go right back to where you were at the beginning of the season. People are going to start to remember again that you and Shep broke up and then you hooked up with Austen.
I don't think it's going to get that bad. I don't think it's going to get that bad. I think it's going to be
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like Leva brought it up. Like, dude, really? Maybe. Like, you got back and now we're going to bring this back up? Yeah.
But it might be like a check yourself moment more so than you're back out.
She just never does herself any favors. Like, there is just no strategic advantage to bringing this up to Austen at all.
None.
It just isn't. You got to look at this like, hey, yeah, this could go a long way if I don't say anything. Let's just keep it here. And here we find out it was taken as a joke. So it didn't need to go anywhere. Austen actually didn't need to find out that anybody was talking about it. It would have been fine.
Yep. But here we are. Well done. But we do get a funny scene where they're toasting and they're like, cheers to dating exes. And so I was like, I got the better one. Taylor's like, I got the better. She's like, I already said that. It's like, sick, guys. You got her. Like, what are we in fucking middle school?
You guys both got the worst.
I got the best. I got the best one. They're both bums. Okay. They're both bums. Nice job, everybody. We're fighting over Andrew and Gaston.
Fucking loser off.
Jesus. But let's get to Ryan, Leva, and Venita. I don't think Ryan expected what was coming when he walked into that room.
No,
because he's like, hey, how's the party? Like, you guys having fun? Let me hide these feathers. I fucking hate them, but we're enjoying ourselves. No. And they both get into it. And they're like, look, we talked to the barber. And obviously what he said was jarring and it was confusing. And so we called him to clarify. And it sounds like you were spreading rumors or whatever. And Ryan's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, that's not true. And Ryan defends himself in saying, this is what I had heard. When I heard this, I am friends with Venita. Therefore, I thought it was important for me to let Venita know what had happened because I'm not friends with JT. And here I see this friend of mine that is infatuated with this dude that is continuing to lead her on. It's worrisome to me. I'm worried about my friend. I hear this. So, of course, I take it to her to make sure that she protects herself. And I'm like, okay. If you also thought that it would give you a little screen time and be a little shady, again, is that not what the show's for? Like, I will say, like, yeah, the pile on JT is not fun. I don't think that everyone needs to hate him just because the rest of the group hates him. I'll get on board with that.
Sure.
But again, when I'm looking at this, we like to try to be logical and use evidence and take what we got from these scenes. It's like, my blame still goes to the barber.
Like, without a doubt, it goes back to the barber. There's nowhere else to look. I don't really understand any of this. And you put it best. Ryan was not expecting this. And this is the most he's had to talk all year. This is the longest that he's had to be on camera. He was so nervous. And I get it, but he's defending himself. And if you're going to stand in that and stand on business, you should be comfortable enough to get through this whole conversation. The funniest part about the entire thing was Rodrigo stepping in.
Yeah, he got the fucking boot.
And I actually really, and that's the funny part too. I felt bad for Rodrigo. He caught the stray, but like Ryan was well within his right to do that. You know what? I don't need any more opinions in here. Get out.
Yeah,
right out. Like, that was really funny to me. That was the best thing that Ryan did in the entire season. But he didn't really defend himself that well because I thought that his lead up talking about being friends with Venita and not friends with JT was good enough. Again, we're putting it back on the barber. The barber's the one paraphrasing here and making stuff up and spreading the rumor. That's how it got to Ryan. Why are we forgetting this? I don't understand. But he explained himself really well. Leva just wouldn't back down. Leva was letting them have it.
Yeah, she kept going.
She must really like JT, and I don't really understand that either. That's, I'm already still trying to wrap my head around the whole Venita thing, but
she brings up Ryan's subconscious. She's like, you heard JT, and your subconscious jumped to blaming
You're on the
him.
hate train.
He's like, no, I stand by what I said.
There's a lot of people on that hate train, rightfully so. JT does it to himself.
He does, and again, I am not on board of the everyone kick JT while he's down train, but again, looking at this scenario, it's hard for me. If you're mad at
Ryan got no grace.
Sure,
Ryan got no grace.
None. The barber's completely exonerated.
The JT told his barber about Venita coming on to him, whether he said some girl or not. He still told the barber that Venita was coming on to him, and it's going to put him in a world of hurt with his current girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
No one's really breaking that one down. I don't know why. That's a lot of.
We're not talking about the fact that JT's leading her on this whole time.
Yeah, no. So we're going to let that lie.
It was Leva.
I know, and we're going to let that lie because we have to go after a bigger, badder villain in Ryan. Ryan simply heard information from a barber. Everybody hates JT. JT has had a terrible season. He's been talking and running his mouth the entire season. Ryan heard the information and went to his friend to tell her. He didn't change anything. He said exactly what the barber told him. Leva heard the conversation with the barber. I don't know how you don't walk away from that conversation thinking, yeah, the barber probably said that. Okay, cool. Let's leave it at that. Like, that's really all you have to do. You don't have to go for a witch hunt towards Ryan. I don't think he really deserved that. It was funny to watch just because he was so nervous, but
it was just confusing. The whole thing was so confusing, but let's keep going. Ryan and Venita, they end up making up. And again, he says, this is what my barber said to me. I wasn't trying to be hurtful. You're my friend. And because you're my friend, I'll always warn you. And I was like, it makes sense. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something.
Maybe
there's
more
info, but I don't fucking know. But you get to Craig and Austen. They have another like kumbaya moment. Like, I've never been more connected to you than ever, man. Like, yeah, nature's healing. And we weren't even close enough for me to ask you about your girlfriend who you've been dating for 6+ months. I was like, Jesus, that's tough. And
it's awful to hear.
Yeah. And again, like
what's your name again?
Audrey. Oh,
no, yeah, I know her name.
Yeah, we do, but he doesn't. But like,
show me a picture.
You can tell that he's still fishing, or maybe he's trying to make himself feel more confident. It's like, it's like when you can be yourself fully around somebody and they accept you and blah, blah, blah. And he's like referencing Paige again.
Yeah.
It's like, man, that's not what we're seeing at the moment at all.
Yeah.
And he's 99% confident about his proposal coming up in 2024. It's like, yep, it's happening. 99% confident. I was like, oh no.
No.
Oh, sweet Jesus. But
well, I guess at this point he already had the ring, so he was just waiting for her to tell him that it's okay to propose.
You're ready. I'm ready. Yeah, it's tough. The whole situation's tough. But Shep and Molly are hitting it off, and they do make sense together if he wasn't such a piece of shit. Because she's just so sweet and nice, and I don't want her to get fucked over by Shep. That would really bum me out. But Craig texts Shep to make out with her, and I don't know if they saw that text and we got an edit, but she just grabs him and kisses him. And what I thought that was she saw everybody looking, she saw them all like giggling, and she's like, I'm so fucking done with this, and just gets it out of the way.
After what she had to go through in the Bahamas out in the water. Like, I'm not doing this again. We're not going through this because I know if I don't kiss him, I'm going to walk back over there and they're all going to tell me, go find him and go kiss him. Let me just do this now under my own power and just get it over with. And it was funny to see Shep's face afterwards. He was like so smitten. So like, whoa.
He's like a little schoolboy. He's like, oh my goodness. Oh my first kiss from a lady.
God, let's just get that out of the way. I didn't really care for the first update after all of this. I hope Molly cleared that because that would be wrong.
Oh, the fire, yeah,
dry
dude, that was a lot.
The dry spell, like,
well, she had said that.
I know, but like, hopefully Molly was like, yeah, we had sex, and yes, you can tell all the.
Yeah, that's kosher. I don't know. That was pretty nuts.
I fucking hope so.
That was pretty fucking nuts, but. You get to 2 months later, and that's where we get JT and Venita started dating until ... And that's again the original story that came out was they had started dating, ghosted her, girlfriend pops up like 2 weeks later after they hadn't discussed it. So Then we get
it has to be a move. I'm sorry, but like the
it
more
all
we
doesn't
know,
make
and
sense. And now JT's coming out with all these quote unquote receipts, and it's like,
he's
oh
at the
boy,
reunion.
he
Like,
is at the reunion.
I know. Like, you couldn't finish up with any confessionals, but you're going to go to the reunion. Like, that tells me that you want to come back next year, which is bothering me.
Oh, do you think he is going to come back?
He wouldn't go to the reunion if he didn't want to come back. He's
That's
not the
a good
type that's like,
point.
I got to go clear my name. Like, he's probably going to end up taking some sort of a beating. I would hope, at least, because of some of the things that he said. And again, the two biggest things he didn't actually say. We agree with that. So
and he's
the
free
rest
from
of it
those.
doesn't make you a good person. So he still should get some sort of a beating. But a lot of people on this cast
A
deserve
verbal
good beating at the
beating.
reunion. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, totally. Just kidding.
Just to
clarify.
clarify.
But yeah, I have a hard time thinking that this isn't some sort of a move after all of that with the barber and knowing this is going to be on camera. Maybe he did have like a little bit of a break with the girl, and he's like, you know, what would be great is just to fill my time with Venita, and then I can say I dated her and gave it a chance, but it just didn't work out, and I went back to my ex. I think that's probably what he was thinking, to try to exonerate himself in some way. I just don't think that he did this on his like he was romantically involved in Venita. Like he just wanted to.
I don't know. There's so many questions. There's so many questions that I don't know if we'll ever get the answers to. And
no, probably not. Not a truthful
I'm
answer,
curious because I don't know. Like I don't know what the timeline looks like anymore. I don't know who knew what. I don't know. I do know that he led her on for a long time. I do know that.
Yeah.
But the rest of it is just he said, she said. And I'm sure at some point I would imagine somebody will drop a bomb where it's like, oh shit. Like completely undeniable. But the episode ends up with the breakup. And it's legitimately the teaser trailer. Like that's all it is.
I rewatched the teaser trailer. It's funny that you even said that at the beginning because I rewatched the teaser trailer to make sure that it was the same thing. It was exactly the same thing. It was
there's maybe 3 extra seconds of reaction shots, and that's it.
It was just like, reaction shots too, and like I thought we were gonna get like some sort of, I don't know, Austen interjecting and asking more questions, Shep asking questions, maybe. I could see the two of these guys probably bashing Paige or bashing Craig and Paige as a relationship, just because that's.
I don't think Austen. Oh, in that moment, yeah, but on the after show, Austen refrained when Shep decided to go on his little rant about Paige, I know, which is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. But
I always hate people that do that after breakups in life. But yeah, I don't know why we needed this. Like,
I don't either.
You're not going to expand on it and show us more of you picking up cameras and having the three of them sit down and talk. Like, it must have been a longer conversation. There's got to be more here, and they just didn't show it, or there was nothing, and then it was just completely fruitless. Either way,
the only thing I did get from it, like what I can take away from this scene is, even after, like at the end of it, like Craig still doesn't get it, because when he does say, you know, I offered to move to New York City and like raise our kids in the city, I'm like, there you go. You're offering to move your life to the city to almost force her into it. On the flip side, she knows that you would fucking hate it there, so she doesn't want to resentment from you. But at the same time, you're taking this white picket fence life that you want in Charleston and just simply picking it up and trying to move it to New York when she's made it pretty evident that's not the life that she wants, at least not at this current moment in her life and her career. She wants freedom to be able to go on tour, see how far she can take the Giggly Squad, because again, they're fucking crushing it. So she doesn't know what's going to happen next year. That's another part of it too. She wasn't expecting this. So she's kind of along for the ride and has worked hard to get here. So the whole point that he continued to miss, and that NYC comment proves it, is it's not about the location. It's about what you both want. She wants freedom to continue to go after her career. You want to settle down yesterday. That will not work. That's why they broke up.
That's the picture that we've been painting the whole year with Summer House and Southern Charm. We all know it now. Now there's no stone left unturned. We're just waiting for the reactions. Well, I think so.
We'll see. But let's get to some questions.
Let's do it. First up here from Stacy Moss Seals. Thoughts on Craig saying he didn't trust Austen to keep the breakup a secret?
Oh yeah, that was weird. That's a weird shot to take out of nowhere.
It was a weird shot to take. I feel like that's why Austen just stayed quiet during that conversation.
Yeah, that was bizarre. I didn't know why he had to take that shot. Oh, we want the steely rates. RMeb124. How do you rate the Shep and Molly kiss? From a passion standpoint, like a 4.
Mm-hmm.
But from a just overall kiss standpoint, I give it like a 7.8 just because of Shep's reaction. And actually, you know what? I'll bump it to an 8.1 because what it was a big middle finger from Molly to the group. Like, fuck off, guys. I see you looking at me. So 8.1.
Good steely rates.
Steely rates.
Going. I always need those early in my week.
I got you, bro.
Just helps me out, A lot of long ones in here.
Oh, from Marissa Olvey. Thoughts on Housewives of Charleston with Madison as the main wife? I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
I don't know if there's enough.
There runs the risk of now you have 3 shows in Charleston.
Yeah, you can't do that. They're already doing crossovers.
Yeah, I see what you're doing. I don't hate it, but yeah, that might be a little bit tough.
Just to keep Madison on our screens for longer, I agree with it, but
yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
From Miranda and 412, not Bravo, but my husband wants to know your ages. He said you're his age, 45. And she said, I said my age, 36.
Damn.
Has he seen us?
Yeah.
To call us 45?
Based off of voices?
Or is it based off of voices? I'm 34.
Me too.
Yeah, we're 34. We're still in our early 30s.
Not mid.
Yeah. Mid's 35. Everybody knows it.
Yep. From KZ Danzig, this just felt like a whole lot of nothing broken up with breaks of 2 months later and then more nothing. Yeah. Kinda. That's kind of whole season, honestly.
Oh, this one's kind of fun. From Julius Zabs. I'm sure I said that wrong, but Julius Zabs. Julius Zabs. I don't know. But you know who we're talking about.
Jewel is Zabs.
Jewel is
Zabs.
Zabs. Who would you cut for next season is the question. Since we took 30 seconds trying to figure that one out. Who would you cut?
I mean, I don't think Ryan did enough. Get rid of him.
Yeah, you can get Ryan out of there. I'll give Taylor another run.
Direction. Yeah, Taylor can go. No, Taylor can go. I do this at the end of every Southern Charm year, though. I don't know. It depends. They need
Whitney
to go.
Can fuck off. Whitney brings nothing to this show.
Just
absolutely nothing.
Like, be a producer and stay behind the scenes.
Yes, please.
I mean, the show needs to go in a more female-centric movement.
1,000%.
You guys know what I mean. Yeah. So if they do that, yeah, Taylor can stay just to see what the dynamics are for that. Just enough of the guys. Like, we know these guys. Sometimes they're fun. A lot of times it's tough to watch.
We need, you know what we need from the dudes? We need the reprieve scenes from the dudes. We need when shit's like heavy. And now we're going fishing with Austen, Craig,
back
and
in
Shep.
Jersey was good.
Yes, exactly. Like, give us a break from like drama to go watch the dudes do stupid, funny shit, and then come back. Because we've watched this show where the dudes are central since its inception. Let's flip it now because it's not working. This season's bad. This is a bad season. So let's change it up.
That's a bad season.
It's a bad season. We don't like that season. Let's do one more. Oh, this is a good one. From Grass Bouch. Why do you think Shep is now ready for a committed relationship versus with Taylor? He's not.
He's not
remotely ready. He's just saying that because he got his heart broken and he's having a moment of clarity where he's like, maybe I do need a girlfriend. And then he's going to go get laid and be like, I don't want a girlfriend. And then he's going to be like, I do want a girlfriend, but I also want to get laid. And then he's going to cheat on his next girlfriend. He hasn't changed.
It goes in the same cycle every single time. We can't get out of it.
It's cyclical.
We are stuck.
Shep is cyclical. Everybody knows that.
He sure is.
But yeah, you see any other ones on there that we need to?
No, I think we're good. Yeah, that's all I got.
I'm trying to see if anybody echoed our thing. Like, why is Ryan getting all this shit?
No, there was nothing in there.
People were echoing Twitter was hot, dude.
Yeah.
Twitter did not like Ryan. Which we could be setting ourselves up for not liking us.
No, that's fine. What else is new? No, I mean, I kind of understand it from like if you're saying purely He hasn't done anything all season, and now he's going to do this. He's going to get involved in that. This is just clearly a ploy to do it. Like, yeah, that's how these shows go. Whatever. If you want to be upset with that, fine. I can understand
that's like when people are like, she's a fan of the show. Why is she on the show? It's like, because everybody that's on the show now is a fan of Bravo.
If you take the show and the expectations of like creating drama out of it and look at this as just a normal situation, how is nobody just looking at the barber like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah,
why are you gossiping?
Or, hey, man, what was said? Let's really clarify what was. They didn't press him at all. JT got like somewhat vindicated. Was like, all right, dude, we're tight. I'll see you next week for my shape up. Like later.
Yeah, and Ryan was also right. Like, yeah, dude, of course the barber is going to think about his business and make sure that he cleans up. Duh.
It just makes sense to me.
Why does it make so much sense to us? And then
I don't even give a shit about Ryan. Like, I don't care about Ryan, but it just makes sense. I don't know.
I don't get it.
Who the fuck knows? But yeah, bad season. Do better, please. Do better next year.
Reunion looks good. But
Reunion has a chance to bring it from like a 5 to a 6.5 if they hit the reunion.
Oh, I'm just gonna look at the reunion as like a separate entity. I've already made my judging on the season.
There's a bad season. I'm just saying a great reunion can salvage a mediocre season. This wasn't a mediocre season. This was a bad season, but a great reunion can bring it up a little bit. I will say
a little bit.
Recency bias. You end on a high note. It's like, oh, that was great.
That's all that matters.
But anyway, that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope. All good.
That's our show. Bros gotta go.